Hey guys, this is round 3 of this session of Cross-Server Guild Battle. We're up against Alliance from Kong 2. I believe this is the first time we've ever fought each other, so I didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. I thought I did, but I drastically underestimated these guys. We're still doing fine and whatever, and still at an advantage, but not as much as I thought we were. Going into this, I saw Zarged in the top 100, and that was about it, and so I wasn't that concerned. They had less guild BR than we did in their registration BR, and I didn't think, oh, maybe I should look into the guild strength cross server to see if they had dropped their BR for registration, and it turns out they did, but I didn't look into that until after this battle, and so yeah, I gravely underestimated them. Which I figured out very quickly just from this fight. I didn't think there was really anybody that was going to give me a ton of trouble, and these guys actually do a very good job. I don't have a Guardian rune on, which is really the major issue. I think it would have been okay otherwise, but even so, they do a very nice job of fighting me. They have 2 Electro Pets, which is a very bad situation for me. I have no Electro resistance on. That Wind Pet is not an issue. I do have a lot of wind resistance, or at least good crystals for wind. I didn't think to maybe move over some resistance to Electro, which is something I might do for crossover GB because Electro Pets are still pretty popular. So here comes the... Oh wait, that's no. Mage 260 is the strongest of the bunch here. And so he just put an MDef reduction on me. So I take out Goddess of Prosperity. Mage hits me, but deflects. So I think I actually won that fight. Yes, technically I won the fight. But then for some reason I just get spawned into a fight really quickly. So yeah, their Chicken Joe gets me right afterwards, hits me with a Chaos Rune. Of course I'm a little all over the place right now, so I end up dying. So yeah, not super careful on my part, but it was a nice part on the job on their part. They really should have won that fight. It was just a really big a really big deflect. So I messed up there, and need to get my butt back. But at the moment I'm in a tank, so it's actually not that huge of a deal. It's not like I lost a totem or a tower because of the loss. So I do start out in the tank, poking around to see who I can take out, and then usually relinquish the tank to somebody else later on. I think in this case I ended up staying in the tank a little too long. Again, not really realizing what I was getting myself into as quickly as I should have. It also takes me a while to get that Guardian rune on. I think because I was in the tank and I kept on forgetting to change up my skills. So Skoon covering the tower, and myself putzing around. At the beginning we do get a huge point gain. I think one of the problems for them, and even though it was actually pretty annoying how much they went after the towers, I think one thing they should have worked on is attacking the totems a little bit more. They definitely went after the towers and tried to use the towers to gain control over the totems, and really I think that's sort of impractical to a certain extent. A lot of these guilds are smaller and just not handling or end up getting spread really thin as far as players go, and so for the most part you can really only prioritize towers or totems, and in that case you definitely should prioritize totems. It's what we do, and we go after the points as much as possible. So when you're thinking about strategies for cross-server guild battle, that's definitely something to consider. Even though towers help you claim the totems, sometimes you can get away with just getting into a fight in the totem and claiming it, and worrying about the tower later. Here up against Chicken Joe, which I think he's usually the strongest one I fight in these battles, him and Mage 260. I think I only catch Zarged once, and that was later on. Having a bit of trouble in a lot of these battles of getting fights with the top players. Like last week we were up against notorious, and I couldn't get a fight with Osri to save my life. So not a big deal, but it would be fun to be able to fight their top players a little bit more. Here, Shock pops in to support me. And Skoon holding up alright. He does get beaten up quite a bit, though. I think they have more players than we do, and so sometimes if they get ganged up and I'm not paying close attention, it doesn't turn out well. Trying to take out the tanks a little bit, but probably just hugging their camp a little too closely. Definitely, if I knew what we were getting ourselves into, I would have pushed the guild to be on raid call more. It was a few of us just sort of, mostly just hanging out. So anyway, maybe communication wasn't as fantastic as it usually is. It's still doing alright. I think part of the reason why I didn't take them as seriously as I should have was mostly because I usually rely on Shock to tell me what's going to happen. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I'm really lazy and I don't like going and making accounts on other servers and you know, just to be able to go look up other players or, you know, who's in what guild. And Shock's very good about that type of stuff. She's a very, very competitive person, lovely human being, but, you know, pretty much wants to destroy everybody. And so she's very good about going in and looking up other people. And when I got no cue from her that that maybe that we would have some trouble here, I probably didn't think, oh yeah, I should go out of my way to do whatever was needed. I'm also not even spun up here. I'm at 4.01 million BR, so I'm missing like almost 40 or 50 million BR here from Guild Blessing. But honestly, Guild Blessing doesn't, not Guild Blessing, sorry, Blessing Wheel doesn't really do much, so I don't think that really impacts the fights. Here, getting Khaleesi again. It's really a lot of familiar faces here. Because it's such an old server, you know, I know a lot of these players just from seeing them over the years of playing Wartune. Kong 1 is probably one of the oldest servers. I just didn't know that they were all guilded together. Here's Skoon in a bit of trouble. So I saw that and I was like, oh dear, I gotta stall on Skoon and try and get over there as quickly as possible with Elia. Of course he gets stunned. Heal room. Oh, Mystical coming in for a little bit of an assist. I've missed Nicole dearly. She's been away for a while and is playing again more. Try to get a heal out, but everybody's dead by the time I get there. And then Tassin comes in to help. Tassin's probably alright against Marissa and Silent Death. I mean, maybe holds up alright, but I think Chicken Joe might give him some trouble. Well, actually, I think he just dealt more to Chicken Joe than he did against Marissa, so maybe I lied. Silent Death has that snowflake on, so I can't even tell how much Tassin was able to deal to him. Actually, Silent Death might be the strongest one here. Maybe I lied. Using the Chaos Rune. I don't know why I stuck with that Chaos Rune so long. I think it was just... I'm so absent-minded I didn't bother to switch up my skills again. That's a problem about me, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, you did a good job with this, that, and the other. Honestly, I'm a very premeditated player, so I think things through beforehand, and I usually come up with a general game plan. Even sort of pre-thinking, you know, what am I going to improvise and just go with the flow and see, you know, where I need to be or whatever. But for the most part, I at least consider what type of situations I'm going to get myself into and act accordingly beforehand. So if I'm too rushed at the beginning and don't have time to do that, then sometimes things get messy. But we manage all right. Get out of that tower and grab the totem. It's always good just as a reflex if you go after a tower and you win it to, if you don't think there's anybody at the totem, to immediately drop a player out of that tower and not sit there too long trying to laser anybody. Just get out and immediately dash towards the totem. There's no point in having a tower if you don't have the totem to pair up with it. And here I heard Zarg was at the east tower, so I dash out there to go help fight him. Here Val, Durango, and Tapper. I think they would hold up all right against him for a little while, but still struggle a bit, especially once these AoEs come out. Zarg going with a light pet, which is, I guess, a natural choice for a knight in a group situation. He's taking quite a bit of magical damage from me, so not sure about his MDef or if, where he maybe is struggling with that. I do have quite a bit more BR, but not enough where I would think that a Thunder would affect him that much. It is pretty popular with knights to drop MDef in favor of block and just go full PDef and block, but I don't know. Not my favorite type of build. He might not have that though, it might have been something else. Not sure. For what it's worth, my guild and my server seem to be doing alright. We're managing. We're going to do pretty well in crossover GB from what I can tell. And we did pretty well in Chaos War for what we have. And so we are getting a server merge, which I'm very excited about. We're merging with Kabam 40, 68, and 70, and they have quite a few strong players. So that's very good. Hoping to see some active people, friendly people that that we can play with and have things be a little bit more lively through the server. But I really do enjoy the people that I play the game with, and we manage all right. I mean, we make do, and so I'm hoping to only add to that. So we have an Arise. Still my favorite Sylph. The art for the merged Sylphs is not cool enough, where I think they're better looking than the art for Arise. The Phoenix outside in the little version is nothing to gawk over, but once you awaken into Arise, I think it looks fantastic. So in the lead by about 4,000 points now. Again, really having better control over the totems. At some point, we do lose some of the totems, and I got a little bit worried. I think if they had gone over after the totems a little bit more aggressively, they would have gone a bit longer with us. Here, this ends up being a pretty long fight. I love Goddess of Prosperity for group things, but as far as defense goes, it really is not great for survivability. It does have the extra HP passive, but I don't really think that does much. Frigga, on the other hand, is fantastic because it gets the passives from both water and wind, so you get 3% on each of your defenses plus the HP. Then all of a sudden that sounds a lot better. But just the wind sylphs alone can feel a little bit squishy. Really, the dark and light pets are the ones that have just the greatest survivability because of all the passives they get. Oh, I see why this fight takes so long. They have the rings. Got lucky there, and even though I was chaos, my heal went to me. Probably would have been alright because I still had the heal rune left, so not a huge problem, but still helps that their chaos failed. One after the AoEs, they're really in pretty good shape at the moment. I'm the one struggling a bit. Oh, but my AoE is dealing quite a bit once we're at the 100% bonus. Into Sylph mode. Gets that steal out. If Khaleesi were Sylphing at the same time, I might have more trouble. You know, 1 steal, not a huge steal. 2 steals, really gets pretty rough. 3 steals and you're pretty much screwed. Oh, well-timed Guardian runes though, or else I would have had them. Oh, but no more Guardian. Can't see what's going on in party chat. We did have people on raid call, but not that many, so usually when we don't go, when we think it's going to be a fast win, we don't really, you know, go through the fuss of getting everybody onto raid call and whatever, but yeah, we did have a few people, but I think we were mostly just joking around. Oh dear. Been getting a little bit annoyed with our guildies because a lot of people, including myself, sometimes I would attack the tanks. If your opponent's tanks are almost dead, you should really leave them alone to see if you know your team's tanks or your team's towers can kill them. Or else, if you go after the tanks and send them back to spawn, they'll go back usually with, well, I mean, they'll come back with full health. The tank HP is based on your player HP, and so you know, it's just 10 times the HP of whatever the player is that's inside them. That's why it's so helpful to have strong players in the tanks, because they do adapt after the user's BR or stats. Still hanging on well with the totems. The other thing they were pretty good about was using the battle skills. You know, we hardly ever use the revive. The only one that I think everybody's really good about is using the little hammer that heals you. And so if we're low on HP, everybody will use those. And you know, once in a while, our officers will check and see if we can spawn a new chariot. But that's about all we use. And in this case, they were actually pretty good about using the revive all, which is something, well, at least I hardly ever use that button. And it might have been helpful. It is a 30-second cooldown to get in and out of those spawn fights. Again, 1 versus 4 against some very familiar faces. Midori. I'm surprised they're even able to wipe out Midori pretty quickly. I don't know if she was at full health at the beginning of the fight, but she does struggle a bit here, and that really means they're pretty strong. Midori's not super sturdy, but she's still one of our best mages. She's only a little behind Shock. So I was a bit surprised to see that. Looks like I was lagging a bit, which is rare with the new computer. I'm usually really pretty smooth. Chaos War is usually the only exception, or was the only exception, or if I'm in Titan War a long time. Sometimes, you know, you go through, you know, 13, 14 fights in Titan War, and at the end it starts to get a little bit laggy. Cache filling up too much or whatever. have been considering making my Hecate red, but it's mostly only just because I have the materials to do it. But I don't personally think, oh yeah, I need a red Hecate right now. Doing just fine as I am. I know right now I'm going to lose my competitive edge for things like class wars for a while, so that doesn't really bother me. So I'm just sitting on a lot of materials, saving a lot of gold, saving a lot of sylph materials, and hoping for a good time to use them. Since we are getting a server merge, I think I'm going to save up a good stash of gold, because I know that the world bosses are going to get really, really fast and give, you know, squat for gold, and people on the other server might be more aggressive about a toll boss than we already are, and that's another good source of gold that I might have less of. And yeah, so things to look out for. Even so, I think server merge trumps all my priorities. It's the thing that I've wanted for our server the most. It's the thing I've complained about in the forums. Really, the only reason why I would ever go speak on those forums is in support of my server getting a merge and wanting the players on my server to be happier. Oh, I do get a second fight with Zard. I didn't know that. Get Scoon in there. Oh, used an AoE, which is stupid. Whoopsies. Zarg, I think, has checked out, not doing too much. Oh, there he is, trying to stun. I think Panda has more influence than I do. Actually, I'm sure that Panda has more influence than I do. But I still think that he gets stunned more successfully than my hero. So I don't know if rates for influence are different for the kids, but it at least seems that way, that whenever Panda gets hit with an Ice Bolt or any of the other skills that stun, it seems like he gets stunned more easily than I do. Maybe that's just my own perception, though. I do enjoy Crossover GB quite a bit. I don't understand what their schedule is for it, but it's one of those PvPs that I enjoy because I enjoy fighting as a guild, and we don't really have a lot of competition for guild battle anymore. Maybe I'll record guild battle against the servers after we get our server merge, if that still goes through. Who knows, they might cancel it again. Not really holding my breath. But anyway, if you guys enjoy guild battles and stuff, let me know if you want to see that, and any other PvP you want to see, or guides and stuff. So let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, and have a very good day.